Alright. Hello. Yes, we are recording. Hello there, welcome to a podcast, episode 2. I think I am going to title this episode A practice for letting go of needing to sound good. I've seen I had taken a note. The only note I have for this episode is this: a practice of letting go of wanting to sound good. I think it was needing to sound good. I was just on Instagram, I think it was an Instagram reel. It's a guy talking about, it's a music teacher, I assume, talking about how you say as a musician that the music plays through you, you're not in control, which applies to every art form, or actually to sports, applies to many different things. Well, it's what's called being in the flow. Actually, I didn't think about it, but it's the term is flow state. Anyways, he says that's not true. It sounds good, and that's what we all aspire to. But most musicians, for example, the music's not playing through them. They are consciously, or they are in control. That's what great practitioners of any art form or what? Quoi? What? Yes, you can.
What are you doing?
What does it look like?
Are you doing your podcast?
I guess I'm doing my podcast, yes.
How long are you doing it? So I know not to knock on the door.
An hour.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Should have said 5 hours. That would have been free for 5 hours. Anyways. A practice of letting go of needing, a practice for letting go. Not sure. A practice for letting go of needing to sound good. Anyways, when you're good at something, you're able to let go in that regard. But so what he was saying is that that's something people aspire to, but that most people are not able to do. Letting go of needing to sound good, to look good, whatever. So letting go is a very powerful thing, just ability in life in general, but in improving. But yeah, I guess in everything, the ability to let go is very powerful. And so I realized that this current thing, this is an exercise in letting go of needing to sound good and to look good. Yeah, that's what this is to a degree. Because the reason I wasn't doing it before is because I had reservations about looking ridiculous, sounding, stupid. I mean, with the previous episode, I guess looking ridiculous now, I can't really, I can beat that, but I guess I'll try to beat that at some point. But that being said, that was a pretty strong start of letting go of needing to look good. And the whole thing was also an exercise in letting go of needing to sound good. So that's what this is. And what do we go from now? I guess I'll recite this week's poem. I've been working on it for 2 weeks now. I've known it didn't take me 14 days, but I need one for next week, and that's in a few days. And I haven't even found one yet. Anyways. Oh, that's the one, I think I mentioned it in the first episode. That's the one that refers to the sea as a blade. Alright, let's go. So, l'homme et la mer, by Charles Baudelaire, once again. Homme libre, toujours tu chériras la mer. La mer est ton miroir, tu contemples ton âme dans le déroulement infini de sa lame, et ton esprit n'est pas un gouffre moins amer. Tu te plais à plonger au sein de ton image, tu l'embrasses, des yeux et des bras, et ton cœur se distrait quelquefois de sa propre rumeur, au bruit de cette plainte indomptable et sauvage. Vous êtes tous les deux ténébreux et discrets. Homme, nul n'a sondé le fond de tes abîmes. Ô mère, nul ne connaît tes richesses intimes, tellement vous êtes jaloux de garder vos secrets. Et cependant voilà des siècles innombrables, que vous vous combattez, sans pitié ni remords, tellement vous aimez le carnage et la mort. Ô lutteur éternel, ô frère implacable. Pretty sure I made a mistake. It's quite... I remember hating having to do this. We had to learn poetry at school. I remember in primary school, we had to recite. Such a weird, so uncomfortable. And also, it kind of... yes, I made a mistake, tellement. That's why I should have opened with the poem. I'm not gonna do... I don't know. Shit, I don't have a timer. I need that timer. I'm not gonna redo the whole thing. But yeah, I made a mistake. That's unfortunate because I was pretty confident that I knew it. Oh well. What's his name? One of these music gurus who looks like he's 15, but he's a music genius with perfect pitch. Collier or something, I'm not sure. Who says there's no such thing as a wrong note. You just have to play with, if you play the next one of confidence, something like that. Which I'm not gonna try to break down what he means by that, but I have an idea. Alright, so that's 2 things done. I've talked about why I'll name this episode what I've named it, and I've recited something. Well, that's the extent of my notes, unfortunately. But I guess if this is an exercise in letting... This is an exercise in letting go of needing to sound good and letting go of control. So it makes sense that I wouldn't have a script. I could have planned it out a bit better. But here we are. What do I talk about? I can't make the same mistake I made in my previous attempts in just talking. There's well, it's not a fly. There's a flying insect in this room. I think there's 2, and they keep coming back. And frankly, they don't bother me at all, so I don't know why I'm pointing it out. I've heard that having spiders in your house is a healthy sign. Well, when you run out of things to say, just drink some water. This might be a 10-minute episode. How do I say this? Recently I've got into chess. Recently I got into a few things. Well, chess probably more so than the others. Chess, climbing, and what's the other one? Poetry. But poetry I've basically just learned 2 poems. And one I recited with a mistake, so very much at the beginning on that one. climbing. I went climbing maybe 3 weeks ago now? Fuck. 3 weeks ago, and I pulled my back. And haven't gone back since, yeah. And we are going, not tomorrow, in 2 days. Climbing is so exciting. Because, how do I say this? If you get good at lifting heavy weights, how do I say this? I mean, I would like to be able to lift heavier weights than I'm able to now, to be just physically stronger. But when you learn to climb, you climb with your whole body, literally from your toes to your fingertips. So it's an exercise that makes you work your entire body. And it's very gratifying. It seems, well, I don't know because I'm not good at it yet, but it looks, I really want to use the word gratifying right now. But there's, moving on. It feels really good to complete a course you weren't able to do, like a climbing, I don't know, would you call it a course? A route, a climbing route. It's very satisfying. But if you're good at climbing, it's like your whole body is kind of one. It's working together like to the best of its ability. Plus there is problem solving involved. A little. Anyways, I want to get better at climbing. It's enjoyable. It's a very different form of exercise than anything I've done before. Because besides just like working out or playing basketball, I'd say those have been the main ways of exercising. But with climbing, you quickly find yourself like at the limit. Yeah, I mean, me at least, I get there, I start climbing, and I quickly find myself in a spot where I'm like, my forearms usually and my hands are unable to continue really quickly, and you just wait a bit, and then you try again, if that makes sense. So you really push yourself to your limits. And if you're close to finishing I called it a course earlier, and then a route. If you're close to finishing a route and your forearms are dead, you push yourself, right, to finish it. And that sense of pushing yourself beyond what you thought was your limit is pretty enjoyable. But so that's one thing I like about climbing, is that you're constantly in that state of kind of having to push yourself. I guess with basketball, I would have to push myself too. But it's a different kind of... it's different. It is. And then with chess... I mean, chess seems to be a lot about memorizing as well. Simply knowing what's the best move next. I guess you can either be really good at calculating, or I don't know. I mean, I imagine all the saying that with no knowledge whatsoever, but I imagine the best players have, beyond their ability to calculate, they have great knowledge of. They've seen many different positions before, and they know what's the best move based on that. Me, when I play, I'm very lazy for some reason. Like, I'll focus for a while, but at some point I just play. I blunder. I play too fast, and I blunder pieces, and I keep playing. So my rating goes down, and so I don't feel like I'm growing. Patience is important. was it 2, maybe 3 years ago, I decided to start meditating every morning. And for the first few months of that year, I did it. And I quickly found myself just being able to sink into nothingness. Essentially meditate. Yeah. It sounds weird to say I was good at it, but anyways, I was able to do it, and then I stopped, and since then, and that was 2.5 years ago or something, since then I picked it up again on the first day of last year, I think. Yeah. And since then I haven't been able at all to get back there, to nothingness. Or it's not really nothingness, but of letting go, essentially. Which is crazy. It's been a year, and almost a year and a half. And every morning I do my meditation. And I can only kind of get away for a few moments. I'm always distracted. And it felt so good when I was able to meditate. It felt so restful. Just 20 minutes felt so restful. So, I mean, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So, it is pretty stupid and insane, maybe, that for a year and 3 months I've been meditating, but not meditating, right? That's crazy. That's stupid. So why? So I guess letting go, in general terms, like letting go is something, well, that's difficult, but it's especially difficult for me. Why? Why is it difficult? Like, I just named this episode a practice for letting go of needing to sound good, or for letting go of control. And I figured I'll just talk, but the words are not coming out. I don't know what to talk about. Letting go. And it's weird because so there are specific things I'd like to let go of, and like when I have to think of the things that are holding me back, if I go straight to the surface, it's distractions. When I say distractions, it's not like things that are imposing themselves on me, of course, but things I go towards. So that's the surface distraction. But then I go to these distractions because I don't want to do what I'm supposed to do. That's why I go to the distractions. And so the reason I don't want to do the things I'm supposed to do is because I'm a perfectionist. I don't want to risk not sounding good and looking good. That's why I don't do. That's why I then procrastinate and distract myself. So I think distractions, and I mean this goes hand in hand with the other thing I don't want to let go, is sugar. Now, sugar in general, but that starts once again on the surface, and I eat these 200 grams bars of chocolate. Not daily, but almost. And sometimes 2. And I know why I eat them. Anytime I feel just a bit negative, just negative emotions, just a little something, clearly it's not that little, but it's not like. But obviously, I don't eat chocolate every day because something major happens every day. But if something somewhat uncomfortable or something that makes me a bit angry or upset happens, I'll eat the chocolate. But that being said, but that's weird because if I go to the cinema with a friend and I buy chocolate to eat during a movie, it's not because I feel bad. It's because the two are associated in a way, which they don't have to be. Anyways, so sugar, specifically just buying chocolate and devouring it, knowing it's unhealthy, and knowing it gives me headaches afterwards and my energy goes down, and so my motivation goes down. So distractions through entertainment, sugar, specifically chocolate. I mean specifically 200 grams of chocolate at once. I'd say these are the two. But I mean these things you don't solve. I mean that's one thing I've always been told. The light is going down. I wonder how dark this is going to be. Me distracting myself. You don't solve the problem by looking. I mean, once you looked at the symptom, you have to reverse engineer or whatever. You have to go back to see the root cause of these. And so, entertainment, sugar, and one that I gave up on last year, that was really affecting me negatively, was pornography. So I would say these were the three. Pornography, sugar, and mindless entertainment. And they sound quite small for as vices. I know nowadays pornography is looked at more seriously maybe than it was. I mean, we're getting more of a better understanding of what its effects can be. But it's not like I'm addicted to cocaine or I smoke weed all day and I don't look particularly unhealthy when I talk about sugar. Like people will say, you don't look like you eat that much sugar. And no, I don't. But that's not the problem. But so that one, pornography, I literally just stopped. And I had done it multiple times before, just stopping for a period of time. But the longer you go, it's like anything else. Or it's like giving up something negative. You have withdrawal symptoms at first, right? The first few days, it's very hard. And then you get to a point where the more time passes, the less interested you are in that thing, and the more you see it kind of objectively. So me at least, as time passed, the more I thought about it, the more I thought about how the negatives of it and how there's no positive, and it's just weird. Really, it's just weird watching pornography, right? Which, nothing wrong with doing weird things, actually. But nonetheless, it is a weird thing. Very weird. And so it's been a few months now. And I don't, it doesn't feel like it's something that, I don't really think about it too much. I haven't thought about it in a while until today. So that thing, I just stopped. I thought about it kind of logically, and it's stupid, or it doesn't bring anything positive to me, so I need to give it up. So I did. Sugar, I have in the past given up at least eating excessive amounts of sugar and buying chocolate bars. I have given that up before for weeks, probably weeks is the most. but sugar I keep going back to. It's strange actually when you think about it that, I mean, I could give up, I don't know if the word is strange. Well, it is actually, because I could give up pornography, which ends with an orgasm, even though it's a shitty one because you're in front of a screen watching other people fuck while you're masturbating, right? That's just all kinds of wrong. But anyways, it ends with an orgasm, whereas eating chocolate, what the fuck does it do? Because it does something, it fucks with your brain, but apparently it's better than a shitty orgasm. But yeah, sugar is one. And actually probably the most difficult one to give up of the three, since clearly, I mean, it seems that pornography was the easiest, but the hardest is mindless entertainment. Mindless entertainment is number one. That one, actually, when I think about it, I don't know what periods of, I haven't gone weeks without mindless entertainment, not even days. So I guess, and that means the next one I need to give up is sugar. It's fucking chocolate. Because in terms of what affects me most, I'd say sugar is number 2. Or no, it's number 3. Pornography was the one that was just had like a strong effect on my mind and my energy and everything. But that's the one I was able to give up the most easily. And chocolate or sugar is probably, or in the short term, it's number 2, I guess, ahead of mindless entertainment. Yeah, these are very different because sugar is very much, well, pornography would be the shortest term with the highest high, but then the lowest low. Then sugar would be number 2. Now I'm thinking, do I eat a chocolate bar faster than I finish the other thing? Anyways, but yeah, the high is not as high with sugar, right, as an orgasm. And yet it's harder to give up. But in mindless entertainment, there isn't really a high, it's just a continuous neutrality to it. It's just, yeah. But it's so strange. It is so strange to think that I would spend hours watching entertainment on YouTube, knowing that I don't get anything out of it. Doing that as opposed to working on my own dreams. I found a quote recently that said, I think it's a quote by Carl Jung. Did I mention it before? I might have. It's only episode 2 and I don't remember what I mentioned before. The quote is, if the path ahead is clear, then it's probably not your path, or then it's not your path. It's probably then it's not your path. I just said it's probably not it's not your path. Yeah, I said that. If the path ahead is clear, it's not your path. And something my stepdad used to tell me was, always choose the hardest path. And these are not absolutes, right? Because I'm not gonna walk on my hands to work every day as opposed to taking the bus or to walking, because it's harder. right? You have to understand how to apply these ideas. But when you pick the hardest path, there's more chance for growing. Even if you fail, you can grow. And the idea of if the path ahead is clear, then it's not yours. If it's easy, then it's probably because it's probably the wrong direction to take. And I think about that, for example, in terms of my current work. It's easier. Well, the path is clear. I come at a certain time, I leave at a certain time, I have specific tasks, etc. And it was difficult at first. Very difficult. For me specifically. For other people, not at all. But now it's quite easy. I mean, I would say that now, doing it just well enough is easy. For me. So, but it's because it's not my path. It's my employer's path. He's created his own empire, and I'm kind of working inside of it to help keep it running. So it's his path, and I'm walking, behind him, and he's cleared it already. Right? Now that I think about it in more detail, as I said, it's easy to be good enough for me. But some of my colleagues are really good. Really good at what exactly? They're really good at making the guests, at making them happy. Is that the word? Yes, I think that's the word. That's what they're really good at. And me, I don't have to do that to do my job, quote unquote. But if I want to walk my own path and not just follow someone else's and not just be good enough, if I want to get the most out of this experience, I have to get out of the easy path and be more like the ones I look up to, who are really good at their job. For example, getting tips. Something I've thought about. What's the word? At length. Tips. Because, how do I say this? Well, I mean, I definitely think it's an excuse now. But I would tell myself, it's strange that I would kind of act like we're friends, make jokes or do all these things for money. Right? Like I look at my colleagues being proud that they've received tips, and it feels wrong, essentially. It feels wrong. Now, how does this work? Where was I? Yeah, when you think about it in these terms, it feels wrong. Like, I have a hard time getting past that. Yeah, getting past that. The fact that it feels wrong to act so friendly in order to get money. Now, the reason But the reason I need to be more like my colleagues is not for money, it's to improve. To generally improve. So it's just an excuse. The tips thing, it's just an excuse. Someone told me once, just stated, you're an introvert. About probably around a year and a half ago, summer 2021, I think. Someone just said, you're an introvert. And that angered me. And I'm not an introvert, is the thing. I've learned how to be an introvert. Just like I've learned English and I've learned French. But it's not an inherent part of me. These are not inherent parts of me. Even though French, for example, the language feels like an inherent part of me. I didn't know how to express myself before I knew how to speak, specifically in French. And that's enhanced by the fact that I then learned English. And English doesn't feel a part of me in that regard. Right? It feels like it's something added on top. It feels like clothes, and French feels like my skin. That being said, where was I going with this? So yes, that angered me because I know it's not true. It's temporary, but it's something that I've worked on and developed over more than 22 years, and I'm learning to undevelop it, which started a big step in that was taking that job. But I think a lot of people give that excuse to themselves, and I give it to myself, even though I know it's not true. When I know I should go towards a guest, interact with them, do this, do that, I'm like, but I'm an introvert. Right? It drains my energy. If you're an introvert, interacting with people drains your energy and all that shit. And I know that something, I don't know if that's the right word, supersedes, but I want to use it. I don't know if it's the right word, but I want to use it. Take the place of. Yeah, it kind of works. I know that a fact that supersedes the idea, it doesn't even supersede it, it makes it irrelevant. It's the fact that if I force myself to do something I don't want to do, I'm going to improve. And I'm going to get better at it. That completely beats the idea of, oh, but I'm an introvert. I think that a lot of people don't think in those terms. Something I've noticed. Like, when you die, you don't want to have regrets, and you want to think that you lived a life worth living. And we all know you have to take risks for that. And you have to take risks. We all know that. But people will convince themselves that, yeah, but. And there's all kinds of reasons. Some people have constraints that are very powerful, and it's pretty much impossible for them to pursue their dreams. I understand that. But a lot of people convince themselves that it's the case when it's not. They convince themselves that it's like, for your parents' approval, really? Like, it's crazy actually to think about it. We're talking about your life. We all understand how miraculous it is that we are alive. I mean, we try not to think about it, but just if you stop for a moment and you think about all the numbers that can be thrown at you, how many cells, how many sperm cells are going towards the egg, and one, succeeds, I think it's like it's more because it's more than millions, right? It's a big number, and like the chances of being alive are so slim. That's what's crazy. That it's so enormous that we can't actually think about it, and so it becomes irrelevant. If we could actually think about how impossible our existences are, how miraculous it is, like we wouldn't give a fuck about anything. We just want, like, we wouldn't be scared of anything. We would just live our lives, pursue our dreams, tell people we love that we love them, just do everything right. If we could think about how blessed we are, like how unbelievable it is to be alive, right? But it's so unbelievable that instead of kind of encouraging people, it's so unbelievable that they just don't believe it. It's so unbelievable that most people just live mediocre lives and they convince themselves that they're fine with it. And maybe some are. That's crazy. Like, well, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, these numbers, they are so big that you can't, imagine them. Like, I can't help but feel like I have a duty because of how lucky I am. I have a duty to have a duty to live, to experience, to make the best out of. I'm probably completely in the dark right now. Thank God my skin is pale. Also, I'm lit from below. It's like this is the horror movie portion of the podcast. So yeah, recently I've had this conversation about that specific conversation. Oh, but you can't live for other people, blah blah. You have to go for your dreams, with someone who was completely not having it. And I mean that's useless. Like, I was drunk, and I've had these conversations before, and they're just useless. And that's fine. Everyone sees things differently. Well, I think that'll do it. Well, to reflect on this episode, there was a point where I let go of needing to sound good. There was a point where I let go. So that's good, because it seemed like I was completely on the other side of letting go. I was completely stuck at the start. When you talk about things that you're passionate about, this is going to be a motivational channel. When you want it as bad as you want to breathe. What was it? I remember when I was 14, around that age, I would listen to these motivational videos all the time. I started like wanting to working out and taking cold showers, all that shit. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. Yeah. It's weird to think, like, the path I'm on right now, the things I've wanted for so long. I mean, I'm 23, so how long really? I mean, people, okay, whatever. In proportion, like, for how long I've been alive. For such a large chunk, or a large percentage of my life, I wanted specific things. I'm still working towards them. And I'm still fucking myself over. Still, what's the word? Not ambushing. Ambushing. Huh? What's the word? I'm still working against myself. But imagine a world where you're not working against yourself, like a world where you are, you're not succumbing to your weak instincts. You're doing the right thing. You're not fighting yourself. That would be so nice. One day. Right. I've rambled enough. What's his name? The character. Is it Jack Rambo? John Rambo? It's probably John. It's always Jack or John with these American movies. Oh. Would you look at that? It is John Rambo. Joe, John, or Jack? What is that about? Well, John Rambo out.